We are back, folks, here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTK.com. We're live here inside the Suburban Chevrolet Make the Choice studios. You guys heard me talk about the Big Ten Network coverage. They're going from school to school and practice to practice, talking about each of these programs. I'm a much bigger fan of BTN since they made an addition, I'd say, about a year ago. Before that, I was kind of skeptical. It was, they just don't really do it for me. Then they added this guy named Marcus Ray, formerly number 29 in your programs. And it's just my suggestion. And Marcus, I want to know if anyone's listening. I just feel like it would have been good if when they made their stop at Michigan, they had a campus liaison named Marcus Ray that could have helped them and really have shared some great insight into the program during that broadcast.
Sam, what up, man? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I was thinking the same thing for a while. Like, it would be cool because I know Michigan's program pretty well, and they only let, Howard and Jerry and Dave do the tour for the most part, and then the rest of us handled the studio work. But when I got the assignment for Michigan State, I figured out, well, I think they want their best analysts to cover the best team from 2013 on the 90-minute show and to talk defensive football. Who better? So, if anything, I thought they should have gave me both teams.
Right.
But you look good on TV, Marcus. That's the most important thing.
Right. And so Marcus, we have a lot to cover in this segment, so I want to jump right into it. We are right now 17 days until the start of the Michigan football season.
That's right. And the countdown of the Michigan football season is brought to you by our friends at Lewis Jewelers and our friends at Park and Party. And Marcus, usually we go through and talk, and you've been here with me. We do some former players and we talk about what the different guys are. Well, the fourth of the four former number 17s is a guy you know fairly well, as we're 17 days away until the start of the Michigan football season. You could probably tell us a few things about a guy that was a West Side Cub and went to Detroit Pershing High School, was a Doughboy. He's now a member of the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, that 17 is the great Larry Foote.
Foote, Detroit's own. He came out of high school, and he lived with me the summer before his freshman year. I actually took in Marquise Walker, Dave Terrell, Justin Fargas, and Larry Foote, and Julius Curry was kind of a part of that. Cato used to come over, but Vic Hobson. I try to mentor as many guys as I can, as I could. But Larry Foote he eventually grew up to be a great man, a man of God, has a beautiful family. Obviously, he's played in the league for a long time. He'll do anything for anybody. And he's just a good guy. He's still fiery. He's loud, obnoxious. He got a big head. But, and I'm not talking about like humility. I'm talking about like a physically, like one of the biggest Joe Rockhead blockheads. But seriously, he's a guy that works hard. He feels like he overachieved when it comes to athletics. He was highly recruited out of high school. He said that the reason he chose Michigan over Nebraska is because we won a national title, or, we beat Washington State up pretty good. And so when he got to college, he said that he was an undersized linebacker, and he was only maybe 190, 200 pounds, but he took the coach and he hit the weights. But most importantly, he played fast. He was he was all Big Ten 2 years in a row. He was Defensive Player of the Year in 2001 for the conference. He had a great career, numerous tackles for loss. I think he set the national record, I don't know if he set the national record, but he led the country with tackles for losses. And then he was a fourth-round pick to the Steelers, played well, won 2 Super Bowls, made a lot of money playing the game, tried a year with the Lions. That didn't work, went back to Pittsburgh. So he won 2 Super Bowls, played in 3. Now he's with the Arizona Cardinals, man. He's a family man. He has another son on the way. He had a great article in the paper a little while back. What more can you say about Larry? He's a great football player, but an even better person.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going to take you, Marcus. You just took the words right out of my mouth. We're talking about Larry Foote, a guy who on the field, man, you talk about a guy who knows the game, studies the game, can really can really attack an offense because he knows what they're going to do. Man, there are a few better linebackers that we've seen here in recent memory, better at diagnosing a play and attacking it in the backfield, like you said, with tackles for loss. But as many superlatives as we can offer about Larry Foote, the player, you just said it. He's a better guy than he is a football player.
Yeah, and I think it probably took him a while to learn the game at such a high level, but that's how he earned. Well, he got drafted in the 4th round, and when he got there, Bill Cowher soon realized this kid knows football, and that's how it used to be when all of us went to the NFL from Michigan. I mean, they felt like we came from a football school. Like, you sat out in the classroom and you learned football the way you learned a foreign language or you learned chemistry. But that was Larry's one of his advantages was that he was smart. And Bill Cowher even said that Larry Foote is the smartest football player. He went on record about a month ago on the radio and said Larry Foote is the smartest player he's ever coached. So not only did Larry learn from myself and Sam Sword and Dhani Jones and those guys when he played at Michigan, then he went to the NFL and started getting mentored by some older linebackers, Ferrier, and playing with Joey Porter and those guys. So he's a team guy, and he just loves people. He loves to compete and have a good time. And when you take care of your own business, you don't have time to worry about other people as far as hating and trying to tear other people down. So Larry focuses more on building than he does destroying other people. He builds them up unless you're on the football field with him or you're playing or something like that. But if you're competing against him, he's going to tear you down. Because I had to whoop him in Tecmo Bowl before he went to camp. Yeah, Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo Bowl, wow.
Yeah, that's how deep.
Regular or Super Tecmo?
Both of them, Ira.
Both of them, of course, both of them.
So, I mean, he's a guy that just loves life, man. And he has a huge family. And, he's just a guy, man, that you want to be around, treats people with respect. He's still there. He's still going to argue, give you a hard time. But to his heart, I think he's one of the greatest human beings that I know.
Yes, man, no bigger compliment can be given to a person. And, definitely concur. We're talking to Marcus Ray this morning. Rays of Light here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050, WTKA online at WTK.com. So, I didn't get a chance to see your breakdown of Michigan State. I know you are to the point now as we're getting close to the season, Marcus, where you started to handicap things. Kind of give me your view of how Michigan fits into the picture, after kind of seeing and looking at the other teams, not only in the East, but, across the Big Ten.
You know what, Sam, honestly, and I haven't really had a chance to say it on television because Michigan hasn't been the topic, but I think Michigan is the most dangerous team in the Big Ten. And when I say dangerous, it's like you don't really know what you're going to get yet until we watch them play. And even it's going to take a few games for us to really see who they are or get a feel for Michigan. So, because I don't think they don't have an identity. But they're talented. They have a quarterback. The defense is going to be pretty good. They got young wide receivers who can play. You got some proven guys, Devin Funchess and all the usual suspects. Everyone's waiting on the offensive line to figure out what they're going to do. Who's going to run the ball? Yesterday on the show, Mark Snyder called in from the Detroit Free Press, and he said how Drake Johnson was moving up the depth chart. And I said, that doesn't surprise me because he set out 2012. He got hurt last year. In his mind, he's probably the most hungry. He's probably the hungriest running back that Michigan has. And with his collection of size and speed, if he came back more healthy, or stronger than he did before the injury, those guys better watch out. And also, he feels like if he would have had a chance to play this as a freshman or show what he could do, those other guys might not be here. But he probably has that chip on his shoulder. He's sick of hearing about all these other guys, 5-star, 4-star, or who won star search, and all of the other stuff. Ed McMahon can show up. He's probably feeling like I'm getting slighted, and I got more to prove. So that's why. And I said, when you look at his size and speed and his ability to block, catch the ball out of the backfield, he's probably really the best complete running back package or option that Doug Nussmeier should go with for what he's trying to do. Other than that, they're going to do it by committee. But leadership is going to be a question for Michigan. I hear the talk. I see all the good stuff and everybody saying all of that. I just want to see how it transfers over onto the field, because you don't really know your leadership until you give up that first touchdown or you lose the first game, and then how you're going to respond. Right now, everything's cool. You know, the waters are calm. Everybody's happy. Everybody's undefeated. Leadership has been rewritten at Michigan, but now it's going to get tested once they're down 14 points in South Bend and have to figure out what's next. That's when everything you're hearing about is going to come. So Michigan, to me, is more of a wait and see. But if I had to just flat out say it, I don't think Michigan is one of the top two teams in the East. They're probably somewhere around 3 or 4. But I think Michigan can win every game on their schedule if they show up like they showed up against Ohio State last year. If they play like that, they will beat everybody on their schedule. I don't care if it's on the road. I don't care if it's at home. If they can play like that, then they can do it. But if they play like they did against Iowa in the second half, Northwestern for 59 minutes, for 59 minutes, UConn for 37 minutes, Michigan's going to have a long year.
Gotcha. Good stuff, Marcus. All right, so I'm gonna. You've been involved in college football on two sides of the equation. You've been a coach and you've been a player, and you know and you've seen how kids can get in trouble, and that's where the position that Csont'e York is in now. He put himself in a position where he's going to be lucky to continue his Michigan football career. He's suspended right now. But they released a video yesterday, him absolutely sucker punching the heck out of a guy. I mean, there's just no other way to look at that. And so Brady said, hey, he's suspended, no change in status there, but gonna look at the process and see how it plays out and make his assessment from there. Give me the considerations here, Marcus. I'll give you my take, and then you tell me if I'm thinking along the right lines. I said, look, you as a coach, you have to determine, was this an example of bad judgment, or is the guy just a bad character? And the coach, knowing his players, is in the best position to make that assessment. And then he has to also assess, is this guy going to be a repeat offender? Because you're putting your reputation and that of your program on the line if you keep him. So what are you thinking about when you make this decision on whether to keep a kid or to let him go?
Well, I think judgment is a one-time action, an isolated deal. Character is a build-up over time. And Csont'e's been there for over a year now. And so Brady knows if this guy is a thug, if this guy is going to be in cancer, this guy's a bad apple for the team. Brady will know that. And I think he'll base his judgment on that. Is he a repeat offender already? Does he get into it with guys on the team? Is he fighting guys in practice? Or has he done anything else leading up to that? I think those are things that have to truly impact Brady's decision. But Brady needs to discipline this young man, take football away from him, allow the legal system to do what they're going to do, fall back, go on with the next guy, wherever he was on the depth chart, but definitely give the kid a second chance. That's showing it was just poor judgment. Because there's a difference between a mistake and a poor choice. A mistake is exactly what it sounds like, a mistake. Hey, Keith. Oh, no, that's not Keith. That's Sam. All right? That's a mistake. Or if you turn left when you should have turned right. But a poor choice is something you actually put some thought into before you did it. Real thought and disregarded the consequences. So I think Brady's going to take all that into consideration. And I don't think Brady wants to send this kid back to Harper Woods. Not just yet. Brady Hoke has seen guys get second chances and turn it around. Then he has given other guys second chances that messed up again. So I think Csont'e's going to fall right in that category of, was this judgment, isolated incident, or is this who he is? Is this how he operates? And then that's going to determine what Brady Hoke does, I think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, whatever the case may be, whether he goes or stays. I hope it's one of those things. You hope a kid can find his way to success, whether it includes Michigan or not. because this is a crossroads, man. This is a turning point for him, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's definitely a turning point, and really, this could be the best thing that ever happened to his young life. I was trying to get into a fight, get in trouble as a young player, get a second chance, turn it around, versus being a defensive coordinator at, Missouri State somewhere, and then socking a guy at a bar, and now it impacts my family, my wife, my children. I'll be 38 tomorrow. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, there's things that I would have did 20 years ago that I wouldn't do now. And I think that goes for all of us. I mean, even when I was at home in Columbus, I found myself in certain situations just in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, I wonder if I really need to be here. It was just a birthday party for some people from where I went to high school with. But I thought about it like, I have too much to lose. 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I'd have been there, doing it up, having a good time, man. But I'll give you an example. My freshman year, I got in trouble flat out. Boys put plenty of thought into it. Got in trouble with the law. Nothing major. I mean, I don't want to say nothing major like I'm downplaying it, but, it wasn't like murder, drunk driving. We were taking things from people that, we didn't have no business doing it. And it was a group of us. And it was just one of them things where I know we did it because we didn't have anything. Or I know that's why I was doing it. I was trying to keep up with the Joneses, and I was putting all my energy into things that didn't matter, like Tommy Hilfiger and Nautica clothes, and worrying about the women, and instead of worrying about my books, worrying about football and being the right kind of guy. Just my freshman year was more of an identity crisis. I didn't know how I fit into this culture in Ann Arbor, and I didn't also know where I fit on the football team. I was nobody after I just came from being a somebody. And a lot of times young players go through an identity crisis, and if they won't admit it, they won't show it. Some guys are just bad guys, I guess. Other guys make poor choices. But when I got in trouble my freshman year, the light came on. I got suspended off the team. I didn't miss any games, but I missed probably the whole summer. It affected my strength and my conditioning workout. But when I got to training camp, I basically pulled, let's say, what a Carlos Hyde did. And where he got in trouble last year, came back. When he joined that team, he was a different man, and he helped that team win. I felt like I did that in '95 when I got suspended, came back, I beat out Chuck Winters and anybody else that was in my way, led the team to interceptions during training camp, and Lloyd Carr knew, this kid can play. If he can keep all the foolishness out his life, he's going to be one hell of a football player. And I started the same year I got suspended. So things can happen, things can turn around, but we're in a different day and age. This is Brady Hoke's team, not Lloyd's team. But we're going to find out how Csont'e responds if all things play out where he can rejoin the football team.
Yeah, time will tell. Great stuff and insight as always, Marcus. When is the next time we're going to be able to see you on the Big Ten Network?
I will be on there Saturday night, 6 p.m., talking all things Minnesota and other topics around the Big Ten. I couldn't handpick who I wanted to cover, but I'm glad they gave me a chance to cover, in my opinion, the best team in the Big Ten right now. I mean, it's good because it forces me to watch other things. I'm around Michigan football so much that I'm more of let me shelf Michigan and let me start really dissecting other teams, because I'm going to do games this year. I'm going to be on Big Ten Live, a lot over on my schedule. They're going to use me all over the place. But now I get a chance for the next 2 days, break down Minnesota. I'm going to call our friend Steve Clark and get some insight. I'm going to do my own research. I'm going to watch some film. So when I sit there on television Saturday night, I don't want to say what everybody else says. Mm-hmm. Well, if they play at a high level and continue to get better, I mean, then they should be a team that's going to look pretty good this year. I don't talk like that, Sam. And I'm not knocking, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking anybody else.
Man, that's what I love about you. When you're on radio or television, you're Marcus Ray. You're the same wherever we hear you or see you.
And I know you got to get to a break, but like I said yesterday, the game I want to see in the Big Ten is Ohio State at Michigan State, because that's the new Big Ten East rivalry. That's the most relevant rivalry that matters. That is a war. And when you watch them play, they don't like each other. And Michigan State has something that Ohio State wants. Urban Meyer hasn't won no Big Ten titles. Neither has Braxton Miller. They can have all the past accolades all they want, but they don't have a Big Ten championship. And Michigan State whooped them and got cheated 2 years ago down in Spartan Stadium. So to me, that's the talk. So that was when the show was about.
Boy, last week you were telling Jabril he can't make plays like you. This week you say, hey, man, it's not you, Michigan. It's Michigan State. Boy, yeah. you sticking it to your guys, man.
I just think that Michigan State is the new foe for Ohio State. And that's just where I am with the conference until things change. Nobody's really worried about our beloved Wolverines, and that's what they need to use as inspiration and motivation. Is listen, we're getting slapped on. I mean, even our own guy on TV is saying that.
Oh, yeah, I hear what you're putting down, Marcus. I hear you.
And we all know Jabril Pepper can't make that interception that I put on there last week. Hey, Sam, that play that I did against Iowa is one of the reasons Charles felt like he had to go get that one-hand pick, because I went through the air and put the cape on first. I'm going to always keep it real, Sam. You know that. I'm going to holler at y'all next week, but watch me on Saturday. Y'all already know the number. Get them rays of light for me. And then, I'll be at Michigan's practice next week, and then I'll be back on Big Ten on the 21st. So just keep up with me. Keep tuning in to the Rays of Light on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA.